Welcome to London's darkest secrets. London, one of the world's most iconic cities, holds a rich tapestry of history filled with grandeur and progress. From Buckingham Palace to the Houses of Parliament, its landmarks whisper tales of power, innovation and cultural revolution. However, woven into this fabric are darker threads that reveal the city's more sinister past. Like hidden alleyways shrouded in shadow, these tales speak of hardship, suffering, and the resilience of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable adversity. Join us now as we venture beyond the polished facade of this bustling metropolis and uncover the secrets buried beneath the cobblestones, the echoes of London's darkest hours. Chapter 1. The Great Plague, a city decimated. The year is 1665. The Black Death, which had ravaged Europe centuries earlier, had returned to haunt its shores. In the crowded, unsanitary streets of London, a new horror was unfolding: the Great Plague. Imagine, if you will, the stench of death clinging to the air, a constant reminder of the invisible enemy stalking the city. Rats, teeming with fleas carrying the deadly disease, scurried through the streets, their presence a harbinger of suffering. Plague victim. The telltale signs, black buboes, fever and agonizing pain, became a death sentence, spreading fear and despair like wildfire. Doctors, helpless against the invisible enemy, donned bizarre beak-like masks filled with sweet-smelling herbs, a futile attempt to ward off the pestilence. As the death toll soared, reaching a staggering 100,000 souls, mass graves became the only solution. Families, torn apart by the relentless grip of the plague, were forced to say their final goodbyes, their loved ones consigned to unmarked pits. The Great Plague of 1665 left an indelible scar on London's soul, a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the indiscriminate nature of disease. Chapter 2. The Shadow of Jack Terror in Whitechapel. The gaslights of Victorian London, though intended to illuminate, cast long, eerie shadows that only deepened the mystery surrounding Jack the Ripper. The year was 1888, and the Whitechapel district, a maze of poverty-stricken alleys and dimly lit streets, became a hunting ground for a killer who would forever be shrouded in mystery. Jack the Ripper witness? The victims, all women, were found brutally murdered, their bodies bearing the marks of a depraved and calculating mind. Panic gripped the city as each gruesome discovery made headlines. Whispers of the Ripper's deeds spread like wildfire, fueled by the sensationalist reports of the day. Who was this monster preying on the most vulnerable? A doctor? A butcher? Theories abounded, but Jack, a phantom who vanished into the fog as quickly as he appeared, was never caught. The unsolved murders left an indelible stain on London's psyche, a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk even in the most civilized of societies. Chapter 3. The Blitz, a city under siege. The deafening drone of air raid sirens pierced the night, a chilling soundtrack to a city under siege. Night after night, the Luftwaffe rained bombs down upon the city, transforming familiar streets into landscapes of rubble and despair. Imagine huddling with your loved ones in cramped underground shelters, the ground shaking with each explosion. Despite the relentless onslaught, the spirit of London refused to be broken. The Blitz revealed the true character of Londoners, their resilience, courage, and unwavering belief in the human spirit. Within the imposing walls of London's most notorious prisons, tales of unimaginable suffering and despair were etched into every stone. Newgate Prison, a name synonymous with brutality and inhumane conditions, stood as a grim testament to the city's dark underbelly. Imagine, if you will, the suffocating stench of sweat, excrement and disease permeating the air within those cold, damp cells. Prisoners crammed together like animals, their cries for mercy echoing unanswered through the corridors. Disease ran rampant, claiming the lives of many who had survived their sentences. Public executions, held just outside the prison walls, became gruesome spectacles, drawing crowds eager to witness the ultimate punishment. The Tower of London, a symbol of royal power, also bore witness to its fair share of suffering. Within its imposing walls, prisoners of high status, accused of treason or other crimes against the crown, met their grim fates. Anne Boleyn, once the Queen of England, found herself imprisoned within the Tower, her fate sealed by accusations of adultery and treachery. The Tower's executioner, a shadowy figure tasked with carrying out the monarch's justice, became a symbol of fear and finality. These prisons, though long since vanished, serve as chilling reminders of the harsh realities of justice and punishment in London's past. Chapter 5. The Black Death, a city brought to its knees. The year is 1348. A ship, its sails heavy with more than just cargo, arrives on London's shores, carrying with it an invisible enemy that would forever alter the course of the city's history. The Black Death, a devastating plague that had swept across Asia and Europe, had arrived in London.
Imagine, if you will, the terror that gripped the city as the first whispers of a mysterious and deadly illness began to spread. The telltale signs, black, pus-filled buboes, fever and agonizing pain, became synonymous with death.
The medieval city, with its cramped living conditions and lack of sanitation, became the perfect breeding ground for the disease. Streets, once bustling with life, were transformed into corridors of fear and despair. The sick, abandoned by a society desperate to escape the plague's grasp, were left to die in their homes or on the streets. Mass graves, dug hastily to accommodate the overwhelming number of dead, became the final resting place for countless souls. The Black Death, a relentless and indiscriminate killer, spared no one, rich or poor, young or old. Its impact on London was catastrophic, decimating the population and leaving an indelible scar on the city's psyche. Chapter 6. Progress and Poverty. The shadow of the Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution, a time of unprecedented progress and innovation, cast a long shadow over the streets of London. While factories churned out goods and wealth flowed into the city, a darker reality unfolded in the slums and back alleys.
Children, their tiny bodies dwarfed by the machinery they operated, toiled long hours in dangerous conditions. The air, thick with coal dust and the din of industry, was a constant reminder of the human cost of progress. Families, struggling to survive, were forced to send their children to work in factories, mines and workhouses, their childhoods stolen by the relentless demands of industry.
The slums, overcrowded and rife with disease, became breeding grounds for poverty, crime and despair. Life expectancy for the working class plummeted, a stark contrast to the opulence enjoyed by the factory owners and wealthy elite. The Industrial Revolution, while ushering in an era of unprecedented progress, exposed the deep social and economic inequalities that plagued Victorian society. Chapter 7. Forgotten Souls, Life and Death in Victorian Slums. Behind the opulent facade of Victorian London, a darker reality festered in the labyrinthine alleys of the city's slums.
Step into the shoes of a denizen of these forgotten corners, where poverty, disease and crime painted a grim picture of daily life. Imagine, if you will, the stench of human waste and decay permeating the air, a constant reminder of the lack of sanitation and basic necessities. Families, crammed into cramped, rat-infested tenements, struggled to survive on meager wages. Children, their faces pale and gaunt from malnutrition, roamed the streets, their innocence lost amidst the squalor.
Disease spread by contaminated water and overcrowding ripped through the slums, claiming the lives of countless souls. Alcoholism and violence, fueled by despair and desperation, became grim realities of life in the forgotten corners of the city. The Victorian slums, a stark contrast to the wealth and grandeur of London's elite, stood as a testament to the deep social and economic divisions that plagued the era. These dark aspects of London's history serve as a reminder of the challenges and tragedies the city has faced. From plagues and fires to wars and social injustices, London has endured its share of darkness. But through it all, the spirit of its people has never been broken. They have rebuilt their city time and again, emerging from each challenge stronger and more resilient. These stories of London's past are not merely tales of suffering, but testaments to the indomitable human spirit, a spirit that continues to shape and define this iconic city today.